We're going to go from those gross looking nails to the gorgeous natural nails you see on the left. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. And my nails were a mess, so I decided I wanted to do a super natural look with my nails. First, we have to take off all this dip powder that was stuck on my nails. I've been experimenting with peel base over builder gel that's been buffed really smooth. Typically, I do gel base and gel top over my builder gel before I put on peel base, but a lot of people have asked me if they can do peel base over just builder gel that's been buffed smooth, and I want to do some experiments. It's been a really long time since I've done that. For the past, I would say about like month and a half, I've been doing my peel base over smooth builder gel, and I'm going to talk about how that works for me and what I found in this video too while I'm working on getting off all this dip powder and going for a super natural nail look. If your dip didn't come off and you want to keep your builder gel intact underneath it, then you're going to need to bust out your e-file. You can definitely do this by hand using a low grit nail file, but it's going to take you a long time to get your dip powder off. Just be ready to spend a lot of time. But for me, I've been using the e-file for a couple years now, and I feel like every year I get a little bit better. It's definitely a learning curve. So here are some of the things that I found that keep builder gel as intact as possible when you're using an e-file to get the dip off over top of it. You want to make sure that your e-file is moving constantly, and you want to be barely touching the top of your nails. If your e-file is pressing hard into your nails, you're going to make a lot of divots in it, which means your builder gel is not going to be nicely intact. You want the e-file to be constantly moving and just skimming your nails. So sometimes that means you're going to have to crank up the number of RPMs. I know it sounds really scary. When I first started doing my nails, I was only using the e-file to remove powder at like 10,000 RPMs, and now I'm doing 20 to 25. But I can 1,000% tell you that now that I'm doing it at a higher speed, my powder comes off much faster, and I hurt myself a lot less because I'm barely touching the top of my dip and it's just flying off. I actually find I have more control with it at a higher speed. So once you very carefully take the top layers of dip powder off, then you want to go in with a sanding bit. The reason I like to go in with a sanding bit, it's the only drill bit that is safe on your natural nails. So I know I'm going to be touching some of my natural nail, and I don't want to use anything that's harsh and that I could accidentally file into my natural nails with, that would like be coarse and really like rip it up. So we want to be extra careful when we're getting near our natural nails. And I just use, I think the sanding bits that I'm using now are 240 grit. So I use them to rough up the top of the natural nail surface and kind of smooth out anything on my builder gel that got a little bit bumpy, and I also take off any lifting with that. So the sanding bit is really great for doing all those things. I go through, push back my cuticles, and then take a little ball bit and just ever so gently go around my cuticles to remove any excess cuticle that I have there. And I'm barely touching my cuticles. I don't dig into my skin. I don't let it touch my nail either. Then I just wipe off my nails with some isopropyl alcohol on a lint-free wipe so that I can fix up my shaping before I go and I add more builder gel. And I like to wipe it off first because I feel like there's just so much dust everywhere. If I try to go and file too, I feel like I just wouldn't be able to see everything. And if you wipe it off, you're going to make sure that you got all the lifted areas, because that's where it'll show and there's not gonna be like dust stuck on top. Then I like to take just the 180 side of my nail file and go in and fix up my shaping. I was doing an almond shape still on my nails here, so I just had a little bit of touch up to do. I used to have to do a lot more touch ups with my shaping in between my manis and when I was fixing my builder gel. All these things that take me less time now are skills that have taken me quite a few years to acquire. Doing my nails definitely did not come naturally to me, so do not give up if you are struggling, okay? You will get there. Once you finish fixing up your filing, take some isopropyl alcohol and a stiff nail brush and brush it downwards on your nails just to get all the dust off. Then you can go with a dehydrator and primer. I do this one hand at a time. After I clean off all my nails with a stiff nail brush and isopropyl alcohol, then I dehydrate 5 nails. Then I go in with primer. I do the 2 layers of primer on one hand. The reason I do 2 layers is because I get way better adhesion, and a lot of brands actually do call for 2 layers. I'm using the OG Dip Powder HEMA-free primer, and it works so much better for me when I do 2 layers. And some of the other primers that I've used use have been like that. Young Nails Protein Bond worked a lot better for me when I used 2 layers as well. So some people might be able to get a great adhesion with only 1 layer, but for me, 2 layers works really well. So let's get into the application. Since I'm using builder gel in a jar, I need a builder gel brush, and I love little builder gel brushes. They work so well for me. I also like to use a long nail art brush. That's how I get really close to my cuticles. The first thing you want to do with builder gel when you're applying it to your natural nails or you're doing a fill is you want to make sure that you do a slip layer. And a slip layer is a super thin layer of builder gel that just covers your entire nail. It allows your builder gel product to apply much more evenly and flow down your nail and self-level a lot better. This is a newer technique I started doing. I didn't used to use a slip layer. I just put the builder gel directly on my nails, but I've realized that doing the slip layer is so much better. Now I see why so many people are now saying that they use it, because it really does help your builder gel apply so much more evenly and it flows to all the right areas on your nails. A lot of people have to do a layer of gel base on their nails before they apply the builder gel. Some people don't have to do it. I'm one of those ones who does not have to do it. So I don't have a layer of gel base on my natural nails before the builder gel. If I put gel base on my natural nails before the builder gel, they literally will lift within like 3-4 days max. I don't know why. Even with the few times I got them done at a salon, it would be the same thing. My nails would be lifting with gel base. If I did gel nails, they'd be lifting within like 5-6 days. I think 7 max. Once you apply the slip layer on, then you're going to take a little bigger like dollop, I want to say, that's what I call it, a dollop of builder gel, put it back towards your cuticle. Slowly kind of float it back towards your cuticle, and then move it from side to side along the center of your nail and slowly float it down your nail. Floating builder gel, floating dip base. Whenever you hear someone talk about floating a nail product, some kind of nail liquid, they mean that the brush should barely be touching your nail. When you drag a brush down your nails, that's what it is. You're dragging it. But when you're floating a nail liquid down your nails, you're barely touching your nail plate. Someone just asked me the other day what floating actually means, and that's when I had to really think about and make sure that I'm explaining what it means. You know, I've been doing my nails for almost 4 years now, and sometimes I definitely forget that certain like terminology that we use a lot, everybody doesn't know, because we were all beginners at one point. I had no idea what floating like a liquid down your nail meant. Now I know that it means that you barely want to touch your nail with the brush, and dragging it is when you're physically like pushing the brush hard into your nail. So once you get your main application on, then you can go in and get really close to your cuticles with the thin nail art brush, and that's what I like to do. I've been doing that, I want to say, for like a year now. I forget where I saw that. I don't know, I think I was watching someone on Instagram and I saw them do that, and I thought, oh my gosh, why haven't I done that with builder gel? I can get super close to my cuticles and not have to actually go over them. Once you use the thin nail art brush and get really close to your cuticles, if any gets on your skin, take an angled cleanup tool with some isopropyl alcohol or acetone and just go around your nails before you cure them. Each nail that I do, I also flash cure 5 to 10 seconds before moving to the next one. This way my builder gel doesn't move before I go on to the next nail and it's frozen. And then not frozen, cured. I cure my thumb separately and then my pointer through pinky by themselves. This way I know that my thumb fully cures because I've laid it flat. That's something else that's always really, really good to do. Then you can wipe off the sticky dispersion layer with some isopropyl alcohol on a lint-free wipe before you go in and file and shape and touch any shaping up that got messed up when you were applying the builder gel. I don't have to do a lot of shaping. I just go through and just make sure that I didn't like get too much over the sides or, put too much builder gel and it kind of like pulled into one area. The filing and shaping in this point of the application is just to make sure that everything looks even. That's why I flip my hand around and look at my nails from different angles to make sure that all of my nails look pretty darn even. I'm not a perfectionist by any means. So people ask me like, how do you get your nails all even? And I'm like, I don't really even look at them. Like I look at them, but don't look at them super closely because they're not going to be all even. I like them to look pretty even, but I don't obsess that much over it. Now we're about to make the magic happen. This is how I make my nails look really natural with builder gel. I take this flexible file and use the 180 side of it first to smooth the crap out of my nails. I smooth like way more more than I normally would for even any kind of application, just so that when I'm wearing them alone, they look really natural. Then I wipe off my nails with some alcohol or wash my hands, and here's my finished mani. If you're still struggling with builder gel application and you're curious of how the jar versus the bottle works, then check out this next video. Thanks so much for joining me today, nail crew.